Hello, my name is Edward Shi, and today I will be talking about three patterns of misrepresentation in media and how it applies to three Hollywood disaster films. These films are 2012, The Day After Tomorrow, and Geostorm. In 2012, a massive solar flare triggers overheating in the Earth's core and excessive tectonic plate movement, which leads to earthquakes, volcanoes, and tsunamis. And so the characters have to survive this ordeal and reach safety in Tibet. In The Day After Tomorrow, global warming or climate change triggers an ice age that basically freezes over half of the world, and the survivors have to survive that too. In Geostorm, humanity actually develops a solution to climate change, which is a massive space station equipped with special tools, but these tools are then weaponized, and the characters in that film have to race against time to fix the sabotage of the space station before the world gets destroyed. And so the first of the patterns of misrepresentations is the portrayal of gender-based roles. And this is what Elaine Anderson, who wrote the article Representations of Women in Disasters, describes as the phenomenon in which women tend to be systematically undermined. When the women prove themselves incompetent, they adhere to gender norms or are simply killed off. And so this even applies if the women are cast in roles where they would be in masculine positions, such as being scientists or politicians. And so the second pattern of misrepresentation that I will be analyzing is male aggression and female cooperation, which is what Jeff Smith in his article Normalizing Male Dominance describes as how women are constantly being misrepresented in films. They're objectified, or their role in the plot is limited to supporting the main characters, and such as being love interests that motivate the main characters. The third pattern is female attractiveness and sexuality, which is the tendency that the U.S. National Library of Medicine describes as how there tend to be sexual images and messages in media that tend to be presented in a positive light that may mislead audiences. And so, in 2012, in 2012, pattern 3, portrayal of gender-based roles, is described by how all of the named politicians are male, all of the named scientists or theorists are men, and the female characters tend to be partners or the relatives of the male leading characters. And so in The Day After Tomorrow, which is slightly more progressive than 2012, all of the named politicians are men, only male rescuers are seen, but there are two female professional characters, a NASA scientist and a medical doctor, but still the main characters who are scientists or politicians are male. And one of the female characters, the female doctor, has a subplot where she has to struggle with staying at home taking care of the kids while her husband, a male climatologist, is able to travel around the world fighting climate change. Geostorm is the most progressive when it comes to portrayal of gender-based roles. Even though all of the named politicians are men, there are three female characters in positions where that would normally be considered masculine, such as a German space station commander, a Secret Service agent, and a government hacker. And so there are also other unnamed female astronauts who give exposition in the film and have dialogue, but they're unnamed. The second pattern that I will be analyzing is male aggression and female cooperation. And so in 2012, it's played very straight, where the male characters drive forward the plot, while the female characters accompany them and endure the effects of their actions. Such as one character has to force his ex-wife to evacuate California over the phone because she doesn't believe him, while another character, the president's daughter, doesn't really do much in the film besides give exposition. In The Day After Tomorrow, it's also played fairly straight, where in the female NASA scientist follows and cooperates with the much more aggressive male leading character scientist. And so another character who is a love interest of one of the main protagonists, she cooperates with the men except for in one scene, and she gets incapacitated halfway through the film, and thus becomes the object of the male character's efforts to save her. Geostorm is the most progressive when it comes to pattern 4 because even though male aggression, female cooperation is played straight in space, where the leading male character assumes command from the female space station commander and gives orders to her crew while she is passive and generally cooperates with him. It's an arc where the female Secret Service agent is actually the most aggressive hero on the ground and does a lot of physical, physically heroic things that would be normally be associated with being associated with the male heroes. And she also has the unique distinction of being the only heroic character to actually successfully shoot someone and take down and restrain the villains in the film. In regards to pattern 5, female attractiveness and sexuality, 2012 has two of the characters make their attractiveness be points in the plot where one cheats on her boyfriend and is punished by being abandoned to die in the climax, while another gets sexually assaulted by her partner in public. Female attractiveness and sexuality. In The Day After Tomorrow, there's a lot of emphasis on one of on the love interests of one of the male protagonists, and there's a scene where she strips off her clothes so that she can embrace the male character and prevent him from freezing to death. While another character, the female NASA scientist that I mentioned before, she is hit on in the first scene where she is introduced. And so in Geostorm, um, there's one scene where the female Secret Service agent appears in her nightdress and her underwear before trying to be intimate with her partner. However, there's not severe sexuality compared with the other examples because she wears professional business attire as the film, while the female astronauts wear very practical uniforms and T-shirts that show no cleavage. And so if I were to recast one of the main characters in one of the films, I would simply switch Uta, the German astronaut, with Adrissa, a Nigerian female astronaut who only has about 3 lines in the whole film. And so this would have a major impact by being positive representation for a black female astronaut as a main character, where most space films lack lack that demographic in main characters, and while also maintaining Uta's portrayal as a rare heroic depiction, of a German person, because in Hollywood Germans are typically typecast as being villainous. And so, in summary, I consider 2012 to be the least progressive of these 3 films in regards to these 3 patterns of misrepresentation: portrayal of gender-based roles, male aggression, female cooperation, and female attractiveness and sexuality, while Geostorm is the most progressive despite having its own flaws. Thank you for watching.